All right, we are live. I'm going to be doing this a little differently today. Instead of typically writing in my journal like I usually do, I am going to commentate, talk about what I thought about for the day, step by step. Gonna note out everything that happened, just gonna enjoy myself, look at the charts, analyze specific things, and I think that's going to help me a lot more than writing it in the journal. And then anything I do see that's like especially interesting, I will write into the journal. But I think just taking note of what happened specifically, and then if it's really interesting writing it in the journal, I think that's gonna help me a lot more than just constantly typing back and forth and not really diving deep into the charts. So, with all that in mind, let's just do a deep dive into the charts and talk about what happened. So, the key level that we ended up using to go lower was, I'm guessing, this rejection block. So, it's a pretty significant rejection block because it just looks good. I mean, we got a high, a higher high, a lower high. So this rejection block is decent. So I believe that was the key level that we that sponsored the move lower. So there's that daily rejection block. So okay, at this point, so we have that. Let's take a look at what draws on liquidity we had. We had actually, first let's look at previous day's high, previous week's high. So we had previous day's low was all the way down there. This previous day's low was all the way down here. Previous week's high, we just barely missed it. We also have previous day's high above, but I don't think we ended up using any of these. What ended up happening is we had this daily order block, right? We're delivering from this monthly fair value gap, and we had this daily order block here. And so with all this in mind, you could frame a buy model off of this, and then yeah, there's that daily order block as a key level. And then let's see what else happened. So we also ended up using this Reaper fair value gap. So you see this fair value gap within discount of this breaker. That ended up being significant, which is pretty cool to see the Reaper back at it again. Okay, so anyway, this was the key level to move us higher. So what's the obvious manipulation into this key level? Well, it's this. So you can see right at the -1 is right when we get our sell-off. So what I'm anticipating, if this is a buy model, right, where we have like, for instance, where we have the -1 right here, I would anticipate us going to the -2 to 2.5. And I believe this is lined up with all-time highs. But let's take a look at that. I'm gonna get rid of this screen for a second just so I can mark out like S&Ts and stuff. So I won't be able to read the chat for a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm wondering if we got S&T or anything here. got a low, and then a lower low. So a low, and then a lower low, a low, and then a higher low. So unfortunately there was no SMT there. What about SMT with YM? We got a low here, and then a low, and then, yeah, I'm not seeing anything obvious. It's unfortunate, but that's okay. So, yeah, look at how perfectly we hit this -1. I find that like really, really interesting. And so, with that in mind, you can measure out this guy. So this was the next obvious move lower. I'm just gonna measure out the red candles because I've noticed that that works out a little better. Or maybe the whole thing will work better. Yeah, we'll see. We will just have to see. So, yeah, we got a buy model off of this daily order block. And we expanded to this rejection block, as well as this previous week's high. Yeah, the rejection block seemed pretty significant, honestly, because with all this liquidity here, it's like, okay, most people are stopped out at this point. Like, hardly anyone was actually a buyer in this zone, or a sell. Hardly anyone was actually a seller right at this tippy top here. That's why the rejection block is significant. So, yeah, we get this buy model here. I mean, measuring out standard deviations into the monthly gap, I want to do this as well. So yeah, the -1 was right here. -2. We're essentially right at the -2, just a little bit slight, just a little bit off from the -2. So if you measure it out with the 6 hour, like this, there we go. -2 lines up a little better. Anyway, there's all kinds of different ways you can measure it out. And we backtest this BPR here, the 6 hour BPR, 4 hour BPR actually. So that's significant. So we got a 4 hour BPR. Actually, this is more like a daily BPR. No, it's not. No, it's not. Just kidding. And as well, remember that was a New Year opening gap. So we have RTH gaps all below, but order flow is bullish right now. So I'm trying to figure out, did we get sponsored by any key level here? No new week opening gap, no new day opening gap. Kind of just seems like a random low, if I'm being completely honest. Suspicious. Like, yeah, I get that it was at this order block, but low key, I want to see us get sponsorship from this order block. I mean, that would make a lot of sense. So remember, we still have all of these draws on liquidity below. Like, so much liquidity. There's probably a lot more liquidity below right now than there is above, if I'm being completely honest. Just LRLR here. LRLR here. So I honestly, I'm just trying to figure out like what could sponsor a move lower. I mean, possibly if we take out previous week's high, right? Let's take a look at that possibility. Maybe we need to come back up, sweep previous week's high, and then maybe once we do that, we'll go to Asia and London. It's a possibility. I genuinely don't know why that's upside down. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. What is going on? Like, nah, that's so confusing. I don't know why it's backwards. Okay. I have to figure that out at some point. Even though we hit this rejection block, this should be a draw on liquidity still at some point. So, with all that in mind, let's talk about what happened during the day. So, going into the day, we end up hitting this 2-hour order block. This all happened before, all this drop happened before I got on the charts. Now, I noticed that we had LRLR below, but also that we had this order block and we had gotten 2-hour CRT off the order block, right? So I was aware of both the LRLR above and also below. So there wasn't much I could do. We had this 2-hour CRT, but with LRLR below, I wasn't for sure that we had to necessarily respect this. It ended up turning out that we did respect it. And you can see that we ended up going higher off of this CRT, even with LRLR below. So it was a good looking CRT, I will admit. But I wasn't sure because we had the midpoint of this candle that did get hit. And so it kind of was like, it was very iffy to me if it wanted to go up or down, and rightfully so. But eventually we did end up going up and going to the CRT high. Eventually this became a draw on liquidity. I'm going to try and look for more SMTs. On the lower time frame, we end up getting SMT here. This was a significant SMT. This was part of what sponsored the move higher, was this SMT here going into 10 a.m. So it was important to have seen that. And then at this point, once we get the SMT and we have started to expand higher, I wasn't sure specifically what, well, I don't know, it was unclear, right? But it was just consolidating because we got this really obvious consolidation below. And once we took out this LRLR with this wick, we could have gone down and taken out that, but we didn't. So I'm gonna look more at stat map here. There's definitely stuff to learn about from today, though. That's for sure. absolutely stuff to learn about from today. Like, I notice previous candle distribution and manipulation levels are still relevant, even later on, which is pretty valuable, honestly. Okay, 12 hour if it'll load. I'm turning this off, it's hurting my eye. I don't really care right now. So, nothing was super clear about the 12 hour, besides that we were at the 12-hour distribution level here. Yeah, I feel like today really could have gone either way, and my analysis was fair. Like, I noted this could have been a buy model, or I noted that this could have eventually pushed us lower. Without it being super clear, and with, like, genuinely with it just consolidating so much, it was just a lower probability day. It really was. Then there's not much I could do about that. Now, I still see there's so much liquidity below. I still think that right now, with so much liquidity below, you gotta be careful with longing. I mean, then again, are we probably drawing the previous week's high? Possibly. If I measure out standard deviations of this, two to 2.5 is right there. The 4 to 4.5 is right there. I think, okay, the main trade that I was gonna take today or two trades that I took. One, both of them would have been wins, but it was honestly like, I'm trying to think of the word. It was honestly scary. But one of them was actually both were break even, but both would have been wins. So remember, we had this SMT, and yeah, this was the SMT. Now, the move that I probably should have used to measure out standard deviations was probably this. This would have given me good projections. Maybe just marking out that red candle. Trying to figure out, would this be better from the body? Yeah. Okay, so you have the 2 to 2.5 marked that retracement, the 4 to 4.5. And you have this manipulation move, 2 to 2.5. So we're probably still drawing higher in the short term. Oh, this one's a good one. -1, -2 to 2.5, 4 to 4.5. This 4 to 4.5 does put us all the way up here. Yeah, I guess it's probably a short-term buy model, but once again, it's very unclear. There's more liquidity below than above, so we got, where do we have equal highs? I'm pretty sure we have equal highs somewhere. Or did we already take them out? I think we already took them out. Decent LRLR up here. And decent LRLR up here. The market will probably want to come for this. So right now, that's probably what's going on. No obvious CRT though, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. But yeah, I bet right now we're probably drawing up to this LRLR here, and same with this, and then maybe we go hit previous week's high as well before we come back down to the order block. All of that's possible. So let's take a look at our draws on liquidity. Yeah, we got so much liquidity below. We got London, Asia, AM, PM now. So it's very significant. As far as the RTH gap, I mean, we still left it pretty unfilled. But we got this RTH gap now. I still see us coming back, filling this RTH gap at some point. So yeah, the main two trades I saw you could have taken today were when we still had this LRLR above. I had a trade that I really liked going up to this LRLR that I ended up having it be break even, and it probably didn't need to be, but I was nervous. So anyway, what the trade was we had this breaker block and fair value gap. So these up close candles, and then a fair value gap, and I knew we were drawing to the LRLR, so I thought this was pretty good. And so entered on the breaker and stop loss below the breaker. Simply just targeted 1-to-1 up to the LRLR, and you can see that this, like, if I took off here, I probably would have, right? I probably would have taken off here. That would have been a 2-to-1, but I was being conservative. I went to break even right away before, like, it really even moved at all. And I mean, did I need to do that? Probably not, but in the future I could probably just hold it a little longer. I probably should have at least waited for us to, like, get a little higher, but I don't know. It was just with liquidity below, like, there was lows here. It wasn't clear. I don't regret going break even. It was a little farm premium. We had so many lows below. I was just being extra conservative, especially because we swept out this high. So I don't think it was terrible that I went to break even, but the trade did end up working out. And then after that occurred, we had on the 5-minute, we swept out London's highs, so that's the CRT high here. And then we went to the session manipulation level. And so we ended up forming this 5-minute breaker and 5-minute fair value gap. So I did this on a singular account where I entered short here, and I targeted the lows of the standard deviation right here, and this could have worked, but it did not, and it ended up being a break even, which was fine. So yeah, those are my two trades for the day. I think both of them were fine. Maybe I should have scaled. Maybe I should have moved my stop to break even here. In the future, maybe I should have trailed my stop here. If it was a copy trade, I definitely would have trailed my stop. But since it was a singular account, I thought I'd give it a chance to go and run, but it didn't work, and I think it was okay. But yeah, if this was a copy trade, I'd absolutely trail my stop here, and yeah, I don't think it was a terrible thing to to let it run, so it was break even. So all that in mind, it was just a hard day to trade today. Consolidation and no really higher time frame structure or anything like that. So yeah, I think we're drawing up to this. So maybe we'll come up, sweep previous week's high. Oh man, maybe we'll backtest. Maybe we'll backtest this new week opening gap and then expand up. But I'm not. I don't know. And then, yeah, I don't know. That basically covers everything. We got previous day's high up here as well. So this previous week's high and previous day's high are pretty close together. Market probably wants to go there, and then maybe we'll get a short-term pullback. I'm curious, do we have any like PD arrays? I'm not seeing a ton. From the weekly distribution level, yeah, weekly distribution levels above previous week's high. I mean, I could see maybe us pushing up into this old low here. But I think a short-term drawn liquidity is probably previous week's high. Man, from that, like, it really could go either way. I mean, we still have the liquidity below, so maybe it wants a short-term pullback, but it also could keep expanding higher. What did we push into anyway? Was it like a 6-hour for value gap? See, it's not super obvious at all. I guess it was a 12-hour for value gap. Makes sense, I guess. 12-hour for value gap. We'll probably expand to previous week's high, and then I don't know. From there, it's to be determined. Market's super bullish. We could end up continuing up to the 2.5, but yeah. As far as weekly profile goes, it should be a bullish expansion week. So with that in mind, and we all have reacted off the New Year opening gap, we're probably gonna expand it to the 2 to 2.5, but I mean, we'll just have to see how we respond in this area. This is a giant new day opening gap. I don't know if the market will respect it because it was like 40 days ago or something like that. But yeah. So we'll just have to see. As far as the higher time frame goes, we completed this weekly CRT, and monthly CRT is still underway. We have the monthly fair value gap, this monthly order block we pushed into. Three-month is still expanding. We did like, I don't know, we did hit that 4 to 4.5 of this. So it's just like, how much further are we gonna go? I don't know. I guess we only hit the 2 to 2.5, huh? So we're probably gonna go to 4 to 4.5 next. We're probably gonna expand pretty aggressively because we reacted off that monthly for value gap. So there's the 2 to 2.5. If I measure out the standard deviations of this, probably going, next up, we're probably going to this area here. If I measure out our manipulation move here, this is the final manipulation move down here. Lines up with this idea, right? There's a 4 to 4.5. So since this is the final manipulation move, this is probably what I'm going to use to get this idea. Okay, so this is what's probably going to happen. We'll come up into this 2 to 2.5, sweep out previous week's high, and then we'll come out, run all this LRLR, push back down into the daily order block here. After, because I think if we have swept out previous week's high, I mean the short term is probably going to be a pullback, and then we come down into this order block, get more orders filled, and then possibly expand to this 4 to 4.5. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I'm just going to put this in the high time frame analysis area and just not say anything. So I think the weekly objective is probably this old previous week's high. And with that in mind, we might get a TGIF tomorrow. Okay, I'm writing this down. Oh, I gotta record my trades. Okay. Okay. I think so. I took a singular account trade, a copy trade that was break even. So 2 break evens and a win, right? Or was it 3 break evens and a win? I think it was just 2. Yeah. Was there another was there another copy trade that I took? There was one before that was break even. So I took 2. I don't even remember what the other one was. I don't know. There was a trade before this, though. I know there was. What was the trade that I took? Why did I take a trade before? What? I saw this 30-second. I don't know. I don't think there was. I don't even see the trade. Well, if there was another trade, I can't find it. Dude, this was a good breaker for value gap trade. This breaker and for value gap. Maybe this was the one I took, but it was break even. No executions. I guess there's no executions. Okay, I'm just gonna do 2 break evens and a win because I don't remember the other one, and it was break even anyways. Hey, we're about to hit that LRLR now. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember the other trade, so I'll just do 2 break evens and a win because I don't remember it. It's fine. But it would have been another break even, so. Let's go. Rating back up to 1,146. Okay, let's put all this information in the total P&L spreadsheet. Oh, we have to also go on Trade-Evate. I kind of want to put days of the week because it's kind of confusing without having the days of the week. Might make each new week, like I might delineate it with like a yellow line or something. I don't know, I'll think about it. Okay. Alright. Let's put in the rating here. Boom. Whoops. Yeah, that's what I want. Eventually I'm gonna have to start counting. I'll start counting now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Still got quite a ways before we hit 30. Okay. Break even rate. Let's go. Oh, whoops. I kind of messed that up. Oh, I don't have the psychology score yet. Oh, I need to calculate yesterday's 30-day psychology score. .40. That's awesome. Wait. No, that's right. Return on win on average is this. Even rate on average is this. Psychology score. I don't have that yet. Okay, let's put in the P&L. So I'm gonna have to switch the screen so you can't see. Boom. Okay, back to the screen. So okay. 323.56. I already wrote that one down. 323.56. Cap. Boom. And then, oh man, you know what else I'm gonna add in here? Okay. I'm just gonna go back to January 14th because I think everything before that was a little sus. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I'm gonna put this at the bottom. So ideally, I want to decrease the standard deviation of the. I want to increase the standard deviation as much as possible. Like I want to make sure. Like I'm trying to think how to put it. Like I don't want it deviating a lot. Like I want to be consistent. Like if I can consistently make 1,000 a day without it deviating 3,000. Like that would be ideal, you know. So okay, let me make sure I got everything closed out here. Actually, I'll just go check it on TradingView. This is gonna take a second. Just hang on. Okay, we're good on that. Checked everything. Okay, so I don't know. I think that's about it for journaling for today. If I'm being completely honest. Oh, shoot. I forgot to write in the account balances. Okay, let's do that real quick. Let's do that. It's gonna take a second. That one's actually pretty close. This one's even closer. That's crazy. We're getting close on a few of these. It's actually so crazy. I hope we get there soon. Oh my. I might go to the gym again today. I know I already went to the gym, but I don't know. I kind of have nothing. I mean, I have a lot to do actually. There's quite a bit I need to do. I should probably film a short video and then do a market recap, but I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the gym. Okay. Okay, let's just make sure that there's no open orders or positions again. I don't care if this is, like, I know this is OCD, but I'm gonna keep checking because I really do not want to forget about an order. That would, like, literally ruin everything, so. Yeah. Okay, we're good. All right. I think I'm gonna end the stream here. There's not much to look at today. It was mostly consolidation. Besides those two couple trades that were break even and like honestly just lower probability because it's just such a consolidation. But there was one trade from Dodger that was good. But other than that, I'll probably cover it in the market recap. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.